advances to the Final Four.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball Podcast.
Shout out to Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball, man.
Noah, let's get right into it. The Illini face Indiana on Sunday at noon. This is a tough matchup. I had the Illini taking care of business against Michigan State and Wisconsin. I'm certainly not as worried as I am about this game now. But coming off two straight losses, two straight overtime losses, and with the personnel that Indiana has, I'm concerned about this game, and I will be in attendance for this one on Sunday in State Farm Center. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm really hoping we can pull out with a win. But Indiana has some players that I think might give the Illini some fits. I think they have some mismatches they could utilize. And if the Illini are playing undermanned again, like they were against Wisconsin, I don't know if a six-man rotation is going to get it done defensively, especially with Ben Humrickhouse playing extended minutes, Jake Davis playing extended minutes, and our top two guards in terms of defense, Andre and Kylan, potentially sitting this one out. So I'd like to start off by talking about Indiana just because I think they have some players that I want to highlight. I think they could score a lot of points against this Illinois team, especially given who might play. We haven't had the official injury report released for this game, obviously, because we're recording on Friday night, and we'll probably get one about 2 hours before game time. I know Kylan is a game time decision, and he will practice before the game, and he will practice leading up to the game, and they'll see how his hand responds. I am more confident that he will play on Sunday than I am in Andre Stojakovic playing on Sunday because Andre has a couple of DNPs, did not practices in a row. So I'll start, like I said, talking about Indiana, but I do want to highlight we might be missing those two players. Indiana, off the get-go, they've got Lamar Wilkerson, transfer guard from, I believe, I want to say UTSA. I'm sorry, Sam Houston. I knew it was a Texas school, but he's been all-world the entire season, multiple 40-point games, averaging 21.2 points per game. I think that's good for second in the conference behind Nick Martinelli on Northwestern. And then they've got Tucker DeVries, who's the coach's son. He was Mr. Do-It-All for Drake in West Virginia previously. In terms of scoring, he's scoring a little bit less than he has in his career, but he's kind of making up for it in other ways on rebounds and assists and just kind of running the offense. Tatum Connerway, he is questionable for this game with an injury. I know Sleepers talked a little bit about him previously as well, but his status is up in the air, so I'm not going to highlight him too much. But the other guy I want to highlight, Nick Dorn, he had an incredible run from shooting from distance, just scoring wise. Let me pull up his game log here. I know he's cooled off a little bit, but he had Rutgers, he scored 14. Or sorry, Michigan, he scored 14. Rutgers, he scored 23. Purdue, in a win, he scored 18. And then at UCLA, he scored 26. So he was on a bit of a heater, and he's cooled off a bit. But they have guys that can shoot from three, which is very uncharacteristic of an Indiana team. I know they've got Darian DeVries, their new coach, replacing Mike Woodson, who just famously, their teams could never shoot the ball. That's a little different this time around, and we saw with the Wisconsin team that went to Champaign, just like this Indiana team is doing. They hit a lot of threes, and it came back to bite this Illini team. Are you worried about that at all with this Indiana team? Because they do have a lot of shooters.
I'm really only worried about Connor Enright.
I knew
He's
you were going to
former
say that. I knew you were going
former
to say
DePaul Blue Demon. So we know that he's got the skill to beat the Illini. He was he was a Holtman guy, so yeah.
no. He played at Drake first. He was a Darian DeVries recruit originally, and then he played at DePaul for a year, and then he went back to Darian DeVries at Indiana.
Why did he leave DeVries? I don't get that.
Well, DeVries was at West Virginia. I don't think he wanted to go to West Virginia, and then they had Sincere Harris, who transferred from Illinois to West Virginia. Chester Frazier is an assistant. I don't know if Chester Frazier is still an assistant there, but I don't think he was like a Chester Frazier guy. I know you love Connor Enright, and I'll let you finish your take on Connor Enright, but I very much oppose Connor Enright. I never liked him at DePaul. But go
I
on.
I like that he can draw charges. I think he's going to draw 14 charges at least this
Oh
game. He could
gosh.
foul out the entire Illini team, to be honest, by himself. It all just depends on how the refs are calling it. They've been giving Illinois some weird call, like some whack calls rather that are not going in their favor. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see him draw at least a couple charges. But I mean, how can I not be worried? They've lost two in a row. I mean, it's very reminiscent of last year, that USC loss, and you're like, oh my God, is this it? Is the season over? So they've got to win. I mean, this is a must-win game. They were saying in sleepers like, oh, I don't know, who needs it more? It's like Illinois needs this one so bad, dude. Like, if they don't win this game, you go from a team where you're talking Final Four national championship contender to if they make it out of the round of 32, will be lucky. So I'm scared. I'm nervous. Indiana could. This is at Illinois.
Yeah, it's in Champaign. I'm not
Okay, I
going to
mean,
Bloomington for this one.
it helps a little bit, but it's like last. I mean, we just lost at home to Wisconsin, so it's like on Jake Davis Wig night. You can't lose on Jake Davis Wig night. What the hell are you doing? And if what are they doing? Any stupid? I mean, what are they doing?
There
Are they
was a giveaway.
doing?
I saw it, and it didn't. It
Are
it
they
was like
Kylan
weird.
Bajwa? Are they doing a Sage giveaway? I mean, it's like they got to stop doing this stuff. 'Cause every time they do a big giveaway, a big event, Jelly Roll, it's like, well, I guess the Jelly Roll game they actually won, so maybe just bring him back. I mean, Jelly Roll. Can we start talking about Jelly Roll some more? I mean, we got to get him involved in this podcast somehow. We said it almost every episode that we want him here, and I'm sure by now he's already heard the clips. I mean, he just looks up hashtag Jelly Roll any video that mentions him. But I actually saw Jelly. He was in this TV show the other night, but
He just
I'm
lost.
happy for him. I'm happy for him, but. This isn't a Jelly Roll podcast. We don't have to keep talking about him. Back to the game. Um, you know what? No, back to Jelly Roll. No.
Come on, man.
I think it is basically I think this is a must-win game for the Illini. So we'll see what they can do. But if they lose this one, the recap video is going to be very, very upsetting to say the least.
I mean, Jelly Roll talk aside, that point rings true. If they lose this game, I think it sets them from. We were talking about a one seed. I think that's off the table now, unless they run the table and win the Big Ten tournament. I
No,
know the two
it's
and
off the table.
yeah, I
There's
mean,
no
it's
way. I
like
mean,
realistically, it's off the table. Uh, Now the 2 and 3 seed talk is still in like kind of realistic. But if you lose this game, you're talking about a 4 or 5. What was Illinois last year? A 6 seed?
that sounds about right.
I'm trying to
I'm
think
pretty
exactly.
sure.
They won their first, yeah, because they were 6 versus 11 against Xavier, who played in the first four, and then they played Kentucky in their second round. Uh, I mean, you're talking about a team that if they lose this game, you go out west against UCLA and USC, and we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but just like it doesn't look good if you start losing games down the stretch, especially against teams that are inferior to you in terms of just analytics, talent wise. Now, like I said before, this Illinois team could be down 2 starters potentially, and I think Kylan's more likely to play than Andre, but it'll be a tough matchup. I want to get back to highlighting some Indiana players because I think it'll lead us right into talking about which Illinois players we think might do well. I forgot to mention Sam Alexis, who was on that Florida national championship team last year. He transferred and now is playing for um, Indiana. He has had a good string of games as well. He had 16 points against Oregon and 19 in a win against Wisconsin, who is currently beating the shit out of Michigan State at home. So
What's that score?
it was like 51 to 37 at halftime, I think. I was watching it. I know they were up like 12 or 14 at halftime and they scored over 50 points. They were just unreal from three. So maybe this Wisconsin loss isn't looking as bad if they're going to beat Michigan State in consecutive games. Um, but nonetheless, this Indiana team beat Wisconsin 6 days ago. And then they beat Oregon at home. Oregon's not very good, but Sam Alexis, back to my point, he had 18 and then, or sorry, 19 and then 16. He's a big guy. He's 6'9". He kind of plays like who's that guy in Maryland? Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but there was that Maryland player who I mean, he's kind of a dog. Like he was like 6'10", but he was given Tomislav and Zvonimir just fits because he's just athletic as hell. And that's how I see Sam Alexis. It was Solomon Washington, I'm sorry. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. But they kind of have a similar game where they're just very physical inside. Sam Alexis is only 6'9", so it's not like Tomislav and Zvonimir are going to have problems height-wise, but we've seen players who are more physical than them give them fits. And I would say the Illini have the advantage in the front court in this game just because they're way taller. The tallest player that plays for Indiana is Reed Bailey. He's 6'10", but he plays a lot shorter than that because he steps outside and hits the three. If this was a team that was just consistently going inside for the Illini, I'd be like, we're going to beat the crap out of Indiana. But we get into three-point shooting contests, and I don't mind that sometimes. But when you play a team like Wisconsin, who's going to outshoot you with Nick Boyd and Blackwell, um, and kind of the same sense here with Lamar Wilkerson, Nick Dorn, uh, Tucker DeVries can hit the three. If we get into a three-point shooting contest with this team, I'm not sure I like our odds. Now I know Nick Boyd is kind of a do-it-all guard, and he didn't just hurt us with shots behind the three-point line in that game against Wisconsin. But Lamar Wilkerson is the same way. He's shown he can get to the hoop, he can drive, he can get fouled. Now the Illini don't commit a lot of fouls, and hopefully at home we have some officiating that goes a little bit more our way. I know Brad Underwood has sent in quite a few clips from the Wisconsin game. I think he said there were like 12 he was going to send in. He's a little perplexed with the state of officiating at this point. But all in all, on Ken Palm, I was looking at it earlier and it just kind of shocked me a little bit because Indiana's only India actually I thought Indiana was lower than Wisconsin. Now, if Wisconsin beats Michigan State tonight, I'm sure they'll jump up in Ken Palm, but Indiana's two spots higher in Ken Palm than Wisconsin is. And now Indiana's offense is four spots lower than Wisconsin's is, but that's not that much. And this Wisconsin team just kind of like handedly knocked off Illinois in their own home court. And uh, my
I
point is,
wouldn't say that. That they were losing the entire game and they came back in like the last 5 minutes of the game.
yeah, but then they played really well in the last 8 minutes of the game, and then in overtime they took the lead and never looked back. So it was just like if we have other Big Ten opponents walking into State Farm Center and just kind of capturing wins. Like a lot of the times I watch these Illinois games, and early on in the season, especially when we're on that 12 game win streak, I felt like no matter how many points this Illini team was down, it was like, no worries, we got this in the bag still. Unless it was Purdue we were playing, I was worried about that one. Nebraska we were playing, I was worried about that one. But other than that, even when we went down 4 or 5 points, I was like, this team's going to take care of business. We're going to get it done. In the last two games, I haven't felt like that at all, especially in that Wisconsin game. There were points when Illinois was up 10 points, and I was like, we got to keep putting our feet on the gas here because I'm not comfortable with a 10-point lead against Wisconsin. Indiana, in a similar way, I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable with a 10-point lead against them at any point in this game just because they can shoot the lights out and go on a 9-0 run with three quick threes, and then they're right back in the game. So I'm based on your facial expressions, I'm getting you're a little less worried than I am. But I'm going to be there in person, so I think that's adding to the worry for myself.
Getting back to Jelly Roll, I just asked ChatGPT where is Jelly Roll at right now, and it says I don't know. It doesn't know his exact location. But he is going on tour this year with Post Malone. So I mean, talk about just crazy. I mean,
He did that last summer.
white people are gonna go crazy for that. I mean, holy moly, they're gonna lose their minds. But getting back to Indiana, the thing about this game that worries me, what time is it at again?
Noon.
Oh,
I'm leaving at 8 a.m.
I feel like that could benefit Illinois. I wonder when Indiana, they're probably getting in
That'll be
tonight.
1 p.m. for Indiana people because they're on Eastern time. So
Has Indiana posted any pics from them boarding the plane yet? I know Illinois always posts
oh,
their
they'll drive. Why would
boarding
they?
the,
They're gonna drive there for sure.
I guess. I don't know. I
Like
mean, I feel
three
like
and a half
Illinois just
hours.
flies everywhere. Illinois, where did they just play? I mean, they just played at a home game and they posted pics of them boarding the plane. So they
No, they
fly
were
to
flying. They were flying to East Lansing.
they
That's a little
fly to
further to
home
drive.
games, bro. I'm telling you. I mean, they any excuse to use that private jet, but no, I think that early time slot could actually benefit Illinois. You know, maybe the road team, maybe they'll be jet lagged, you know, from that drive. You never know. I mean, Bloomington, it's what, like a 14, 15 hour drive, would you say?
No, it's three to Illinois to Champaign. It's like 3 hours.
Either way, there could be some jet lag involved there for sure. Not, but what we did not ask yet is there a European factor involved? Do they have any Europeans on their team?
They do. Not many that play, but I was looking at that. Alexa Ristich, guess the country.
Hmm, Bulgaria?
No, Serbia, actually. So him and him and Petrovic might be good buddies. Um, but that is the only European connection they have. Less so than most Big Ten opponents. And he only has played in 8 games this year. So I don't think we'll see a whole lot of that. As far as what I think the Illini need to do well, inside, I think their presence, they don't go to it often enough. I think they got into it a little bit against Wisconsin, where we saw Tommy get the ball on the block and drop step. And if they didn't come to help, um, he would lower his shoulder and kind of do one of those baby hooks over the left shoulder. He's good at that. I just don't think they go to it enough. And against a team like Indiana, where your tallest player is 6'10", they should be abusing that. I know they're going to continue to settle for threes, not settle, but they're going to continue to look for their threes that their offense gets them. But I'd like to see them get inside. I think that's an area that this team could improve on. They could work on that for the rest of the season. And we've seen they can shoot the three and make the three. They shot, what, 45% against Wisconsin and still lost. So I think when it comes to it and they need to get a basket, give it to Tomislav, get it to Zvonimir, get it to David Mirkovic in this game because those guys are going to be, I mean, they have 5, 6 inches on the tallest player on Indiana. So that's a strategy I think I'd like to see employed a little bit against Indiana. Do you have anybody you're specifically looking at for this game? I want to talk about a little bit how if Kylan
I
does
want
come
to show
back.
something.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a chat GPT picture of Jelly Roll in Illinois
Noah,
jersey.
you're like you there's families who are without water in Flint, Michigan still, and
If
and
you're
this
wondering why your Ram sticks cost $1,000, it's because I keep generating pictures of Jelly Roll.
I mean, we haven't talked about Jelly Roll in 2 podcasts at least, and they've lost both of them. And there's Babasic, so I'm glad he gets an appearance. But is
I'm
there
bringing
any
him back.
is there any strategy that you think the Illini needs to specifically go to? Is there any player you think they need to specifically go to in this game? Because, like you said, this is a must win. And if Andre is potentially out, and don't say Kylan, because I do want to talk about how Kylan will fit back into this lineup in a little bit like later in the episode. So don't pick Kylan, please. But who are you looking at in this game? Mirkovic needs to bounce
Mm,
back. Jake
I'm gonna
Davis
have to
again,
go with
remember those?
I'm probably gonna have to go with Kylan.
Oh my God, dude. Come on.
No, I'm going with my boy right here, Babasic Ivisic, man. I'm telling, I'm gonna ship him to Champagne because clearly,
I'll take him with me if you want me to
dude, I mean, if I could somehow get him to you,
in the next
I
two
would.
days.
Is the game Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. It's Sunday at noon.
Okay. I kind of want it to be tomorrow, but either way, I think key player for this one. I mean,
You can say Keaton. We're not picking MVP, and we haven't said Keaton's name at all.
no, because when you look at Connor Enright, right, he's a small little white boy. We got to match him up with our small little white boy. Who's that? Petrovic. I'm bringing Petrovic back. I think Petrovic is gonna get some time. I think he's gonna get, him and Connor, you know, they're basically maybe Connor's a little bit taller. I mean, they're basically the same size. That could actually be a good little matchup. And Petro, he ain't falling for that charge stuff. He's not gonna fall for that. His IQ's too high. Keaton, he might push off or something. Petro, he's not pushing off. His arms aren't even long enough to push off. He's got T-Rex arms. But I think Petro's gonna do good. I think Big Z. I think Big Z will do good. It's really gonna come down to their defense. I mean, they can't let these teams score 90 points every time. They've lost like the last 2 games, and the other team scored 90 points. You can't have that. I mean, you're not going to win a game, especially not on the road. I mean, at home, you like to think Illinois can outscore anybody, but clearly, that's not the case. So it's going to come down to their defense, see what they can do. Cameron Crocker's got to get it figured out. I thought he had it figured out, but these last couple of games, I'm kind of worried for him. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, defense certainly could step up. They've dropped to 30 in Ken Palm. They were 19 before the Michigan State game, so that's dropped off a bit. I mean, I think that's going to happen when you lose Kylan and then you lose Andre. Those are probably your two best on-ball defenders. Um, but if you get either one of them back, I would expect to see it pick up a little bit. So let's hope they have both of them available. I would like to see at least Kylan play, and this is the point where I want to introduce the little talk about how you think Kylan fits in. Um, do you see or do you predict that there might be growing pains when he comes back into this lineup? If Andre's out, I think I see a little bit less of that because he'll fit into that Andre role, and you don't really need to stick Andre on the bench if he's injured. He'll just be on the bench because he's injured. Um, but like, does Kylan start right away if he's available? Does he only play 15 minutes and you just let him go crazy on Lamar Wilkerson playing defense like Pat Beverly? Like, what do you do with him?
I mean, I'm sure his conditioning is fine. Eh, I worry about his shot, but you don't really need him for his shot. I doubt he'll start the first game back just because Brad, you know, that's generally not something he does. I'm trying to think historically. I can't even really. I guess when Terrence came back, he started, but his
Oh,
wasn't an
even in
injury.
the first Northwestern game, he came off that bench.
Oh, Terrence did?
Yeah.
Wow, and that wasn't even an injury. Okay, so this is breaking news. This is Jelly
If this
Roll in
is,
a
oh my
Chillinois
God.
basketball
I was
t-shirt.
gonna say if this is some more Jelly Roll crap, I'm just like muting you from the
Is that a
podcast.
basketball or is that an orange? It's
That's
like
an
an orange.
orange, but it's like reminiscent of the old Orange Crush shirts, I guess.
And why does it make Jelly Roll look a little
He looks like
it,
DJ Khaled. Like he looks
it
even more
makes
like
yeah,
DJ
it makes
Khaled.
okay, well, that's the last Jelly Roll image for the podcast,
All
okay?
right, great. Talk about how Kylan Boswell fits back into this team.
Dude, we need him. I mean, I didn't think we needed him until that Michigan State game, and then I was like, okay, we need him. And then that Wisconsin game happened, and I'm like, we need him badly. Now, I like to think if Andre would have played in that game, we probably could have won it. But I mean, now that they're both out, it's like, geez Louise, what are we gonna do? So, I mean, I'd rather have. I mean, I don't know how injured Andre really is. You know, it might have just been like a little thing. Kylan had surgery, so I want him to heal. If that means he's got to sit out another game, then sit out another game. I'd rather have him sit out and Andre come back. But you'd like to have one of them back for this game. I don't think it'll affect him defensively, but the last thing you want is for him to aggravate it and then be out for the rest of the season. So it's a slippery slope. I would be surprised if Kylan played. I'm thinking it's going to be Andre, and Kylan will probably come back the game after.
So you don't even think Kylan's playing this one. Okay.
No, I
Um,
don't. I don't think he's going to play.
I mean, I like that take is perfectly reasonable. He had surgery. I wouldn't want to get him more injured. Andre's been dealing with lingering ankle injuries and hamstring injuries and knee injuries all season. So, um, I'm not going to make a game prediction for this one just because the last two I have, and I predicted Illinois wins and they lost both of them. So I'm going to get back to the thing where I just am mute on my game prediction. Uh, I could see it going both ways. I'm worried about this one and I'll be there. So I will be louder than any member of the Orange Crush. I promise that because they've been pretty quiet recently. That's all I have to bring in terms of what I can influence the game. And so that's about as far as I'll go in terms of a prediction, but I'll let you predict it because I'm sure you're going to predict an Illinois win, and I'd like to hear what you think about it.
Um, yeah, I'm. I gotta go Illinois win. Obviously, they're in a situation where it's like I don't want to say it's a must win, but if you lose this one, I might fall into a pit of despair. Merkovich again would be highly questionable. They need to put him on a list. They need to keep him on watch, put him in a mental institution, keep him safe. But I think they are going to win this one. I think they're just going to clamp them on defense. I mean, they have a good amount of time in between games as well, which I always like. So I think they're practicing defense a lot. I think either Colin or Andre are going to come back, so that's really going to help. I think you're gonna have a fan base that kind of like that Michigan State game where they were coming off two losses and we went into Breslin. They were loud. They knew they needed to be loud, and I think that's what's gonna happen with Champaign. I think they're gonna realize like if we don't win this game, we're kind of screwed. So we gotta win. It's a must win from the fan perspective. But it's probably gonna be a pretty high scoring game if I had to guess. I don't think Illinois' defense is going to slow them down all that much, but score wise, I'm going to go Illinois 81, Indiana 74. Pretty close. Illinois is going to get to the free throw line at the end, and hopefully, they get out of there with a win.
Yeah, and hopefully they correct their free throw mistakes from last game. So, I'm not, like I said, I'm not giving a score prediction, but I kind of would agree with you on the score there. Um, they are 11-point favorites in terms of Ken Palm. I think it'll be a little bit less than that just because nothing's easy with this Illini team as of the last two games. I will give or not score, I will give a MVP prediction. I think I said Andre last game, and then he was questionable in the pregame warmups, and I was like, damn. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna give him MVP like prediction this game because apparently, if I predict an MVP, they get injured in pregame warmups and they don't play. So I'm gonna spare any Illini player in this one. Uh, I'll give an MVP of last game, and it's really upsetting that the Illini couldn't get a win for the guy when he was in the building. But Coleman Hawkins came back, and bigger than Jake Davis Wignite was Coleman Hawkins returns to the State Farm Center, and you lose in front of him. That's ridiculous to me. So I'm gonna give an MVP shout out to Coleman Hawkins, and hopefully he comes back. If I get to meet him in person, because I know he's really friendly with fans, I'll definitely get him to shout out the podcast. That would be cool to have a Coleman Hawkins shout
That
out
would be
Illinois podcast. Yeah,
legendary,
that would
man.
be
That would
awesome.
be, yeah.
Um, so I'll send it to you though, because I'm not giving an MVP prediction because I don't want to get anybody injured. But who are you predicting?
Mm, trying to envision it right now in my mind.
If you have to touch Babasic the gnome, he might give you some powers too.
Yeah, let me balance him on my head.
It's like
He's
the
hard, he
sorting hat.
he just blends in.
He does.
Mm. All right. He just gave me immense wisdom just being touched to my head for that few seconds. So MVP, this is gonna sound crazy. Jake Davis. Why? He saw that clip of Greg Gard wearing that wig and he pissed him off, dude. He's like, you don't do that. You don't wear my wig on my wig night and embarrass me. I think he's gonna come back with a vengeance. I think you're gonna see him go ballistic from the 3-point line. So that was my third pick of the night. I predicted Petra, I predicted Big Z, and now I'm predicting Jake Davis. So one of those three has to hit. And when it does hit, I'm clipping it and I'm posting it. And I'm gonna say I told everybody I predicted it MVP. But Jake Davis, I think his stat line is gonna be 15 points because he's number 15, and 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And I think somebody's gonna have the wig still, and the camera's gonna pan over to him, and they're gonna be in the Jake Davis wig, like whoop whoop, and hopefully Illinois wins.
Well, I would hope that one of the three players you predicted as an MVP on this episode actually get the MVP because they might be one of like the seven available players the Illini has. So you're shooting like 50% if you're just going on statistics and odds here. But I can agree with you on the Jake Davis. If it's not Jake, I think it's Ben Humrickhouse. Just in terms of one of them's going to hit some clutch shots at the end of the game. Ben notoriously doesn't hit clutch shots, so I'm leaning more Jake Davis in this one, but. We'll find out on Sunday. I'm going to be there. I am still very nervous about this game. I hope we get more injury updates positively in the next day or the next 48 hours before the game. That'll ease my mind a little bit. But the Illini will face Indiana on Sunday at noon, and I will be in attendance. What is this?
We
Our
need a win. We need a win. Otherwise, they won't go to the tunnel and like shake hands with the fans and take
oh
pictures. And
yeah,
we need you to get some shout outs. So they
they'll
need to
be
win.
right out of there if they lose because
Yeah.
Brad will be pissed off. So, yeah, all we can hope for is a win for the sake of the podcast and for the sake of us not having to recap a third straight loss because it's getting depressing at this point. I thought maybe the loss would be good for the podcast because more people would tune in. Evidently, it hasn't been. So
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. When Illinois loses, I don't watch any sleepers recaps. I don't care. I don't want to listen to sadness and despair. It's like, why would you want to? So I don't
and
blame them.
like I said, the worst part about the last game is I was out with a girl watching it, and so I was like 50% tuned in. So I had to rewatch the loss, like knowing every single point the Illini scored wasn't gonna be. That's like the worst part about it all. They scored 90 points, and I was like, it doesn't matter how many they scored, they're still gonna lose because this is a recorded game that I've already watched. But anyways, let's hope we don't have to do that again. I
What if
will.
you watch it? What if you rewatch it and then they won and you're like, what the hell's going on?
Sometimes I think
Wait,
I could do that.
you guys.
No, when I was a kid, I genuinely believed if I rewatched Illinois games on like record or like I think we had TiVo back in the day when I was growing up. So I genuinely believed if I like TiVoed the games and rewatched them, the outcome would change. But I've grown up a little bit since then and realized that's not the case, unfortunately. Uh, any final thoughts before I sign this one off?
Yeah, I mean, going back to Jelly Roll real quick.
Oh my God.
No, no, it's gonna be. I'm gonna be watching it. It's a Sunday noon game, so I'll wake up a little bit early. Um, I'm I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, so I just hope we win. I'm not even gonna be talking crap online just because I'm not confident. So
Well, the
until we
worst
win and get
part.
back on that streak, I'm not gonna be talking any crap unless you come at me first. If you come at me, it's no, no holds barred. I'm coming right at you.
Speaking of not talking crap online, and I can't believe it took us this long for me to mention this. This game's like my Super Bowl, dude, because I've had Indiana fans. I went to Indiana. I'm not sure I've ever said that on this podcast, but I did attend Indiana University my freshman year of college in 2017. Uh, so I have quite a few friends who are like diehard Hoosiers fans because they ended up graduating from there. So they're over the moon with their national championship win, and rightfully so. I have a lot of respect for Kurt Signetti and what he did. Nonetheless, the Indiana Illinois football game at the beginning of the season was such a big moment for me because it was like me against the world, it felt like. And then, of course, we get like what, 63 to 10 or whatever. So I'm just getting. I read some comments from some of my friends that I'm not going to repeat in this podcast or on this podcast, but like heinous stuff. I have a cat and they were attacking my cat. So it was getting ridiculous. Anyways, this is like my Super Bowl for that because this will be a revenge game, hopefully. But God forbid we lose this game, Noah. I'm right now I'm kicked out of the Indiana group chat, and I have been for a while because anytime I mention the first three letters of the state of Indiana, if I just so much as say IND, they'll kick me out of that group chat because they're soft. But I gotta imagine if they lose this game and I'm there, I will immediately be added back to the group chat and get a plethora of hate messages and hopefully not messages about my cat, but these Indiana fans are ruthless. So I don't know what to expect with them, and I just for their sake, I hope we humble them. Um, I think they're a tournament team this year, but gosh, I really hope we beat them for my sake and the sake of Illinois losing to them earlier in football. I don't want them to think they run the world. And right now on the football side, they totally do. So we can't let them have it in basketball as well.
I agree. And for the record, Michigan State's down 20 right now, 10
Oh
minutes
my
left.
God, it's
So
getting worse, huh?
yeah, that if Wisconsin wins that, I mean, at this point, I'm not really concerned about Illinois winning the Big Ten. I just want them to have good March seeding. So I think if Wisconsin keeps doing good and Illinois ends up finishing like third in the Big Ten, then they'll probably get like a 3 or 4 seed. And I think that, it's a lot better than last year when you had a 6 seed. So we want Wisconsin. Well, I guess Michigan State also beat us. So
Either way.
um, either way, yeah, either way, it helps Illinois, I guess. But
And they're going to need all the help they can get, especially on their own side. We will find out Sunday. It'll be an interesting game. I know you predicted a win, and I'm kind of right there with you in mindset, but I don't want to say an actual score out loud and jinx anything. So I'll be there in person, and hopefully I get some content for it. I will be in my brand new, hang on, let me find it. It's in my clean laundry. So you know I've just washed it because I'm trying to keep it. Where did it go? Oh, it's over on my bed. I will be rocking my brand new Illa fucking Noi crew neck. They did come in. They're actually really nice.
I'm
I'm
surprised
five.
all this stuff actually got shipped and arrived to everybody's house. I'm
No, like
surprised. That's
it
good.
shows up. It's a legit website we're using, and I will say the quality is nice. But if you're an adult male and you're 5'10", probably buy a large for the crew necks because I bought a medium, and it's like perfectly sized. I just know if I wash it and accidentally throw it in the dryer and it heats it up, it's gonna shrink and it'll be too small. So, uh, just giving you some sizing advice. But I
You
will be
gotta
in my
dry clean it, bro. You gotta bring it to the dry cleaner so that it
maybe I
doesn't
get it
shrink.
signed and then I'll definitely have to dry clean it. If I get like
But
Keaton Wagler on
no,
it, I can
then
sell
you
that.
gotta frame it, bro.
Yeah, true. Good point. But yeah, we do have merch, like we've said in the last two episodes. So go online and look at that. All proceeds go to Coaches versus Cancer. So we're donating to a good cause. I think we've made like $50 at this point, which isn't a whole lot, but it will all be donated to cancer research. And any money going to cancer research is a good thing. So if you like the podcast, if you like the designs we have, uh, go ahead and shop on the website. It's on our Instagram and it's linked in there. Um, I'll be wearing my merch at the Illinois game against
Next
Indiana.
round of shirts, we might need to get a Bobasic Evasic shirt.
I was trying to mock up like a gnome like for the new logo or something, but we'll talk about that further. Anyways, tune into the game Sunday, and if you're not there in person, I guess be loud, not in person, but if you're there in person, please be loud because I'll be there and I'm gonna be screaming my head off. And if I'm louder than you, you've already done it wrong because I didn't even go to Illinois. I'm just a big fan. So, Sunday at noon, let's hope the Illini can knock off the Indiana Hoosiers. ILL Noah.
I